Hello, Stacy. Again, apologies for the delay, but please always call or text. I watched your CC4 and awesome, exciting stuff. You got some newbies. Let me look at your reflection first, and then I have some notes as well. Good job, using the in and out, saying you can hold the board, avoiding using the word no. Awesome, observations, and again, totally normal, happens to everybody. And let me see. And yeah, it's okay. The big guys, it happens. I even flinch sometimes with my little guys. But, you'll get more and more comfortable as you continue. And that's also when I like having a rolling chair for me to spell in. So if or when any client gets impulsive, I can scoot away, hopefully in time. And don't worry about the good girl, it happens and you are excited for her, but just keep it to the minimum. Yeah, sometimes, certain sides of the boards are trickier for them to get to, but that's good that you realized that she was having a trickier time with the eye. The all done can be hard with Luke, but if anything, maybe, try 45 minutes for the next section. And then I'm sure I've said this before, but I always, try to remind all of my mentees and either other practitioners or parents that, set that expectation at the beginning. So like, all right, Luke, I think the all done is a loop. I can, get a clock. You can get like a little battery operated digital clock. Like I've got the clock on the table. I just want to work with you for 45 minutes. We can read, do a few questions. Halfway through, we can take a little break. But going forward, I'm not going to respond or react to your all done. And I'll give you a couple prompts or point to the timer so you know when you're done. And yeah, if he's a newbie, so a lot of these guys are, they can do both hands, work with both hands, but I typically stick with, whenever I present the pencil in front of them, whatever they kind of reach for first, and then I try and stick with one hand for the whole session. But feel it out. Maybe the next session, for some reason, he's doing more with the left, and after a few, you can have a little better idea of which hand you feel is more accurate. And yeah, a lot of guys have a lot of issues crossing that midline. So when or if you know that is about to come up, that is when they would get the eye. And then I'd be like, I might even break it because a lot of times they're hovering or they don't pull back all the way. So then I say, all right, you're on that side of the board. Get those eyes ready. We're going all the way across. Go, go, go. And then that's kind of where I might elongate that continuation prompt to kind of give them the gas, as we say, to get all the way across the board. But you could even literally say as direct as, all right, we're about to cross your midline. Shift to the other side and go. And yeah, it took me a really long time to try different prompts and know when to implement or when to switch it up. So that's just something that comes with more and more practice. But it's really great that, you do have a couple newbies and a little bit trickier motor, because they will teach you a lot. And pointing to the letters in the cases where Nicole didn't get the letter after a number of attempts. Yeah, that's okay to an extent. I always try not to do too much direct pointing of that, but let me see what my notes say. And I would, if anything, maybe try a couple words where you're covering half the board, and that way you might not have to do as much of that gestural hand in hopes of her not having to point it down. So if you're covering half the board, you can give more of just the directional and the eye prompts, and maybe take that hand away or just kind of hold it still a little bit closer to you. And you'd even be really surprised on, instead of holding the hand near the board, you could just hold it near you and even do a little bit of movement, and that might give her that support too. I would, be a stickler on fixing the pencil grip with her, push her back from the table a little bit more so she can extend all the way. For the most part, yeah, if she's just all over the place, and because she's so new, it's totally okay. I would try covering half the board with your next session and see if that helps promote a little more accuracy. And also, because she's a newbie, I would start off by saying we're gonna read, and then do 3 questions and read. And then also remember, in mid-word, when she is poking, instead of let's say she's spelling mission and she got the 2 S's, instead of like, okay, you've got M-I-S-S, next letter, then just say, all right, last letter was S, next letter is, go. And again, too, totally normal, it happens, but just like that kind of no or not it or wrong, try not to use phrases like can you spell or do you remember, because that just comes hand in hand with the presuming competence. We know she remembers and we know she can, and I know you know that, but just those little changes in how you present the questions or speak or coach her body can help overall with regulation and everything. And second guy, awesome work. The big guys are intimidating sometimes, but usually turn out to be the biggest giant, cuddle bug, giant happy teddy bears. I love the intro, how you mention your guys and you spell the names, but just remember that when you're giving it, my name's Stacy, S-T-A-C-Y. I'm a mom of 2 autistic boys who spell to communicate. Trevor, T-R-E-V-O-R-E, and so-and-so. And you can do, speech versus language, whatever. And then when you ask him, all right, spell my name, just say, spell my name. You don't have to say, let's spell Stacy. Remember, it was S-T-A-C-Y, or we're going to spell Trevor, T-R-E-V-O-R-E. Just remember, because when you spelled it already in the intro, it's in there. Watch the pencil grip again, and yeah, he was doing awesome on the spells, so spells just have for that warm up and then do the greens. And again, just with, the language and things, and try not to, ask if he's okay or not, because right now all of his speech or however he's communicating is most likely unreliable. So just keep on pushing through and spelling how you did, and yeah, you're doing great. Thanks.